That's a fact, incidentally. You enter into his plight. You can't help it. All unhealed teachers do. They start out with the provision of the justification for the possibility of the sickness. You're a liar. He's a projection of your own mind where in associations you can attempt to appear an unreality. It's too tough a lesson for you? Leave. You guys who somehow are going to let a sickness, you're going to let this tell me that guy is sick and then try to heal him. How the hell are you going to heal him if he's really sick? What is it that's sick? If you don't ask that question, you can't get this. You'll repair that with some sort of magical treatment, everything from booze to aspirin to some sort of laying on of hands. He'll simply re-illusion into another definition of his false self. Do you understand me? You haven't cured him of anything. What you've done was alleviate his magical associations with his own sickness. Well, you're not going to die of cancer, now you're going to get hit by a truck tomorrow or something. Getting hit by a truck is exactly as sick as dying of cancer. Not only is it exactly the same, but you have made a provision in your karma associations to be killed by a truck. Everything happens because it happens. Everything happens at your will. There is no alternative to this. You don't like that? Too bad. I'm teaching what you must term conceptual reality. Okay? There is nothing objective about reality. Subjective reality. This is the Course in Miracles. This is the declaration of all whole minds. There is nothing outside of you. Okay. There's no such thing as Newtonian physics. There's no such thing as separate objectivity, other realities. The whole basis of the Course is you are caught in thought forms that establish a distance between the thoughts that you had in your mind about a chair and a table and a Leslie speaker, a nice Leslie speaker. Now, do I have memories of this Leslie speaker? Sure. Is that Leslie speaker being manufactured in my mind? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. If you really begin to do the workbook of the Course, the first lesson will be what? You don't know what anything is. It seems as though you know that this is a chair. But remember, that has been established in your conceptual relationship with yourself. I'm going to show you what the Course is trying to get you guys to do, you so-called healers. This is a chair, right? Not so. It is only a chair because within your own memory of your reflected perception, you have made it a chair. You don't know what this is. You don't know what this is. How do you know what this is? You don't know what you are. You don't know how you got here. You have no idea. Now, we can agree that this is a chair as long as we just want to associate in our own perceptions with what it is. Do you agree with me? Let's you and I get together and we'll have a relationship based on this chair. And that'll be perfect as long as we both just think it's a chair. The problem we're going to have is that because you are separate from me, your ideas about what this chair are not the same as mine. And if you think they are, you're wrong. Now, we can establish a temporary association with a chair as long as you don't say to me things like, well, I much prefer to have a padded chair rather than a chair like that. And I say, well, I don't know. What's wrong with this chair? I don't say. You say, who made it? It's not going to last very long. We're caught. How much is it worth? Huh? You and I are caught describing ourselves objectively. And you say, well, that's okay. All of my relationships are objective. Of course. You possess associate thought forms about yourself. You hold on to them and they rust and die. This is exactly the same as an idea in your mind. The idea in your mind will rust and die. This will rust and die. What's the practice of getting out of this? Ask it what it is. Huh? Just ask it. Say, what are you to that chair? Say that. What are you? What are you? Wow. Wow. Huh? Wow, look. The chair. This is the 7th lesson in the workbook. The chair is God. This is a godly. Sounds like pantheism. The chair has chair gods. Everybody has their own God, but there's only one. As a matter of fact, the chair god's got a better God than you've got. The chair god knows what it is. Just like a hippopotamus's God is hippopotamus because he doesn't question it. I mean, there's no difference between a hippopotamus and God. You just think there is. No. Why? You've got an objective reality that has given that a sense form. Okay, this is Course in Miracles, and I'm going to get in a holy instant just for a minute. Actually, you are really only establishing yourself each moment. Otherwise, you could never get out of here. You have in you each moment the absolute capacity to change your mind because time itself is not sequential and has no real longevity. It only has, it's chapter 13 of the Course, incidentally. It has longevity only in your own perceptual thought form associations that you hold by your previous frame of reference. Okay? This is a chair. I am a body. I can sit on the chair and be a body and have a heart attack. Ah! Call the medics. You think that I just didn't have a heart attack and die? You're wrong. You're wrong. I just had a heart attack and died. You guys get real defensive. If I really begin to present you with what you're doing in your own mind, you won't like me. You're defending yourself from heart attacks. You watch yours. You guys watch your cholesterol, you know. And you take... What are you caught in? You're caught in the thought forms of your own associations of body. You are not a body. You are as God created you. Okay, once you begin to study the cause and effect relationships with your body, you'll be caught forever. You'll never get out of it. You can't get out of it. How could you? You've given separate identities to the functioning of your own wholeness. You doctors treat patients like they're hunks of pieces. It's astonishing. Well, you got specialists in the everything. You know. Guys, imagine that. A doctor specializes in a particular thought form of the association with the apparent symbiotic relationship of something he has no idea. Well, he's a plumber. It has absolutely nothing to do with what that consciousness is. Wow, is that something? Why would somebody want to do that? Healers? You've already acknowledged the sickness. Now you've become a specialist, a proctologist or something. The whole world is nothing but a species of proctologists. I know you don't like that, but when I see what you guys do, you're always just peering into your own self. You know, you're just... And you defend it, too. And you can defend this if you want to. I mean, you really defend it. I wonder if there's that in heaven, you say. Gee, will I be that in heaven? Is what you say to me. So you are in a form of objective reality that precludes your coming together in your real associations with yourself. And this is the lessons that we have come to learn today. That through not identifying with my previous conceptual dualistic associations. Now this is literally true if this image that I have made with my mind is sitting out there is a body. I'll teach you the way the Course teaches us for a moment. At no real time is the body there at all. It's only a projection of your own imagery. Does everybody see that? You make up the images out of your own memory. Okay, I'll do that. Yes, I'll tell them. Yeah. We'll tell them that. That'll be okay. Yeah. So the holy instant then will be the time when suddenly this takes on a different aspect of reality to you. where you lose your objective associate identity with it. That's an experience that has nothing to do with you. You can't accomplish this except by looking at the absolute magnitude of what I'm declaring to you. You're very frightful of doing it. I'm literally telling you there's no such thing as objective reality. Contained in you right now is an idea that this consciousness in its persona, in its personality, is real. You positively have projected that out from your mind. You've given it a separate identity from you, and then you question it in your own relationship. The consciousness literally cannot give you any response except what you have dictated in your own mind, and if you think it can, you're wrong. Why do you continue to study your ego, your personality relationships? What good are they going to do you? I'm going to give you a big one. You literally are not communicating. Stop pretending that you're communicating with your own projections. You're communicating only with yourself, and that is not communication. I know you think it is. I'm telling you that you're wrong. I'm telling you there are no such thing as separate thoughts. Take a bite of it. This is the teachings of the Course in Miracles. There are not separate thoughts going on in somebody else's mind separate from yours. You better be thankful there aren't. Because if there were, your problem is literally not solvable. If that consciousness really has a separate associate thoughts from you, how are you ever going to get to know what he's talking about? You're just going to have to agree on a temporary association with him. You are not communicating with him. Stop pretending you are. That's a big step for you. What do you mean by that, you say? Well, let's get together and decide what we mean by that. How? You don't know who you are. If that's a projection of your mind, it's impossible that he is going to give you any message that you do not want to hear, so let's not kid ourselves about this. That includes the message of your death, his death, and every possible idea that you cherish in relationship to your conceptual self. How is this said? That's what this says. This is Course in Miracles. How you could fall down into the idea that the Course in Miracles is an exchange in perceptual relationship is absurd to me. It has absolutely no meaning and no value. The declarations of A Course in Miracles from out of time is that time is not real, that this is not real, and that it never happened. And that the practice of coming to know that is a fallacy. That the practice of coming to know that is illusionary, but it's the only alternative. I am going to give you, through this mechanism of transformation, a new dream. It'll still be a dream, but it will be the bringing together of all of your memories into a harmonious association. Okay? It's still an image. It still appears to be separate. It gets brighter. It makes you happy. It makes you joyous. You lose the conflicts that you've established with that consciousness to defend your own associations with yourself. I don't know where you're hearing this. You got to wake up and hear it. Instead of trying to console, everything's going to be okay. The consoling is it's not going to be okay. All awakened minds or progressive minds who have turned their wills over to God console that the world will never be okay. The problem of the world cannot be solved, and if you'll stop trying to do it, okay, you'll discover that you always were the problem. And there never or ever could be a problem except as you have established it in your own mind. Until you stop trying to define yourself in relationship with your own mind projections, it is impossible that this can occur. Why? You have the power of your mind to hold on to it and die in your own karma drama. And you do. Fortunately for you, since you invented time, you can change your mind about your conceptual associations with it. Okay? Time has no longevity more than an instant unless you give it that. Not that that instant is true, but that instant of the time of the apparent schism is what? The closest that you can get to reality. When would that instant be? When? Say it. now. It would have to be now, all right? If you have shortened time, this is the pure Course in Miracles now. If you have shortened your perceptual determination not to die, and you haven't laid up a store that's making provisions for you to die, that's absurd. Why do you store things up? You're going to die anyway. Why don't you use them now and give them away in love? Oh, I wouldn't dare do that. How would I keep myself from what? Well, yeah, you guys go, I wouldn't dare do that. Until you do that, you'll never be alive. Some of you hear that. I know a lot of my people hear this very plainly. That's why they protect everything by giving it away. If you hold on, if you hold on to a perceptual idea about yourself, you protect it, you project it into the future, it rusts and gets old, and you die along with it. And you tell me that's okay, well, go ahead. The whole teachings of Master Jesus Christ of Nazareth are you should live in the now, don't plan for the future, consider the lilies of the field, don't defend yourself, and you would be in heaven, and you are in heaven because you did that. Okay, the problem that you're having is remembering that you did it. It is impossible that I am presenting anything to you that has not been done in your mind. Where do you want to hear that? If I'm a construct of your mind, it must be that you have already remembered and ascended into heaven following the schism. It's impossible that that not be so. Isn't it? If perception is only past tense, how did I get into your mind in the first place? How come I'm telling you this now? What do you do with it? All I've ever done is tell you this. 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 All I've ever done is tell. Literally, all I have ever done is tell you this. You can do all sorts of things if you want to. They mean nothing to me. I'm what you call a designated whole mind. This is what I've got going on around here. We're very much aware, this is pure Course in Miracles now, that we have undergone transformations of our mind that give us the single provision of showing you your own reality. We do nothing but that. The exact difference in my mind and yours is not honesty, it's constancy, and that's what you can't stand about me. No matter what you tell me about yourself, I'll tell you you're perfect and happy and in heaven. And you'll say, no, I'm not, and I'll say, yes, you are. And you'll say, no, I'm not, and I'll say, yes, you are. And you'll say, no, I'm not, and you'll go through another death process, have a heart attack to prove that you're right. And then you'll come back to me again, and you'll say, well, nah, this time I got it solved. This time I'm going to be a human being on the planet Earth, and I'm going to live to be And I'll say, well, looks like you got a pretty good thing going there. Well,